Do you feel like you're barely keeping your head above water? That no matter how hard you try, meaningful progress remains out of reach? Heather gets that. She battled an eating disorder for years before seeking help. Now in recovery, Heather is here to tell you that positive change is possible even when it doesn't feel that way. Join her as she shares openly about her struggles and small triumphs. Fair warning though, Heather doesn't hold back. Her candid story may trigger some. But for those wanting honesty, hope, and healing, this is 1% Better with Heather. The information and stories shared on 1% Better are based on host Heather's personal experiences with eating disorders and mental health challenges. Heather is not a licensed doctor, therapist, dietitian, or other health professional. Her advice and opinions should not be taken as professional medical advice. Please consult your physician or a qualified health provider regarding any medical or health-related issues. 1% Better also contains descriptions of eating disorders that may be triggering for some listeners. Discretion is advised.
Hey there, my little gappers, and welcome to 1% Better with Heather. Today, I have a very special friend in the studio, well, sort of in the studio, over technology, but it feels like you're here with me. I have Gina Perrin with me. Hello, Gina.
Hi,
How are you doing today?
I'm excellent. Thank you for having me.
So why don't we just jump right in? Tell everyone all about yourself.
Sure. Okay. Well, I'll try to make that brief. That could be pretty long in my 47 years. I am coming to you from Los Angeles, but I am from a small farm in Pennsylvania. And I always say that I fell in love with health, wellness, fitness, probably before I was born. My dad was a competitive bodybuilder, and from the time I could walk, I was in the gym watching him and his friends work out. And so that's where my love of fitness came in. I am a personal trainer and a certified health and wellness coach at this point. But I didn't start out doing that. So, and this is part of the story. Again, really great role model as parents and living on a farm, growing up on a farm, grew up very, clean eating, fresh outdoors, all those things. Went off, had a career, in my 20s, raising kids, got divorced, yada, yada. Now, at the end of my 20s, I met somebody new and I was happy again, and we had just gotten engaged. So really excited for that next chapter. And I want to point out that my fiance at the time, he was very much into fitness like I was. So we were like the fit couple, that couple, the couple you see like at the gym or out in public. They're just, you can tell they live a very clean lifestyle. We worked out every day. It was just part of our life, and things were going great. And then Christmas morning, 2010, my father and I found my brother in his home, and he had committed suicide. So,
I'm sorry.
At that very moment, I knew that nothing was going to be the same. I didn't know the magnitude of it, but I knew that from the minute prior to knowing to the minute after were two different worlds. Within 6 months of his death, my engagement was called off. Within 4 years, I left everything and everyone that I knew, and I moved across the country to Los Angeles. And that is where my life took a complete, turn at that point, because obviously I started a new career when I got here. And Heather, honestly, I guess a part of me thought geography would help. A change of scenery would help. But I was internally spiraling. I had not seen anyone. I had not gotten any help. to resolve it, and during the day times I would be okay, but nighttime was like the worst for me. I didn't want it to be dark and go to sleep, because that's when, the thoughts come, and nightmares and everything else. So in that time, I gained a lot of weight. I didn't even recognize myself. I was no longer that fit person. I was overeating. I was over drinking, to the point of just passing out by myself at home. I became almost like a shell of a person that I didn't even know who I was. And, I'd say, I'm going to fix this and turn it around at night. And then the next day would come, and I just start all over again. I was very much in a deep, deep rut. Dare I say depression, anxiety, all the things, right? But externally, if you met me and I fell into like my new job, and things were going great there, and great coworkers and everything, everybody'd say I was just this happy person. And I wasn't. And that's why it is very, very, very important for me today to understand that even if you're in the grocery food store, and I've said this story before, there were people that smiled at me, that were checking me out at the store and gave me a compliment or said something nice, and I was dying on the inside, and they made my day. You really, truly don't know what someone is going through. So I have a lot of grace for if somebody maybe, says something not so nice, or acts out, because maybe there's something going on that you don't realize. So what happened? It could have gone really bad, right? I could have continued on the path that I was on. And I knew that it was not only going nowhere fast, but it was getting worse. And Heather, I'd love to say there was some bolt of lightning that hit me and was like, whoo, snap out of it. But it didn't happen like that. I did, however, wake up one morning from being passed out from the night before, and was like, enough is enough. Like, enough what I'm doing to my body. And so hungover, I literally stumbled across the street to a brand new cycling studio that had just opened across the street from my apartment. And I took a class, and I probably smelled like alcohol and sweating it out. And, I felt a little better afterwards. And I was like, oh, right. That feeling of working out that was so ingrained in me my whole life. It was like it was like coming home. It was very comforting. And so I, for the next probably 6 months, I got into great physical shape. I knew how to do that. That was the portion that I knew how to do. But I didn't know how to take care of here, my mind. And that was the last piece. And that's when I reached out and started going to therapy. And that's when my life really changed.
Man, you've lived 1,000 lives. I always say that. Man, and honestly, after researching you and I live very, very similar lives. Like, we could be twins, let me tell you. And so if you don't mind, let's go back in time just a little bit. You talked about living in a very small town. And from what I know of you, you said the thing to do was drink, drugs, get married young, have kids. That's your life. That's it.
Yeah.
How did that affect you?
Well, I did those things. It, didn't work out for me. We were married for a brief time. We have, 2 great kids, but that didn't work. But I have friends that got, that from back there, and they married their high school sweetheart. They're still married and have a fabulous life. And I love that. I love that it works for some people. It just didn't happen to work for me. Right. I got great kids from it. So there's no regrets there. And I truly, truly believe that wherever we're at in the very present moment in our lives is where we're supposed to be. Even in the bad times, even passed out on the floor of my apartment, that had to happen. There needed to be a death of my ego for me to come up out of that. I love that I'm from a small town. I love that everybody knows everyone. When I go back and visit, it's an amazing community. It really is. There's something to be said for where people know your name. What was that? The show Cheers?
Yeah.
It's true though. It's true. Somebody like I love when I go back and I visit and it's like, oh my gosh, there's that familiarity, like not much has changed. And there's so much good in that. Where my path led me has been really amazing too. I could have never dreamed that I'd be living, near Malibu and on the beaches and where I am now. And thanks to David, my brother, I don't believe I said his name. I would have never moved here or across the country. I would have never stepped into what I believe my purpose is now. And that is to be on my health and wellness journey and to help other people with that, to go into the fitness and health world full time. None of those things would have happened. None of those things would have happened had all the events prior happened. So I'm truly great. I'm grateful for being from a small town. I'm grateful for the journey that I'm on and where it has led me. So I think it worked out. I think it did. Well, and it's still unfolding, right? I mean, hopefully I have a long life to live, and I'm excited to see where this continues to take me.
So if you don't mind, can we speak about David?
Sure, absolutely.
How old were you when he passed?
I was 33 and he was 31. He was my younger brother.
I am very sorry. We were talking off camera. My uncle committed suicide in November, so a couple months ago. That changes you. And my uncle was in his 70s when he took his life. So it just says it doesn't matter, right? What you're going through at any age. But that's very, very, very young.
Yes.
And you talk about you were engaged at the time, right?
Yes.
How did that all unfold for you?
One of the biggest hurdles, I guess is the right word, that I had to get through therapy, by the way, was the guilt that I was carrying. And let me explain. I was so absorbed in my own life that I didn't take true notice of what was going on in David's. It was all about, me and my new fiance and, where we're going to get married and all the things. He was extremely bright, very high IQ, and very good at math. And so he would tutor my older daughter, who at the time needed some tutoring. She was, I believe, in middle school. And I would drop her off once a week at his house for tutoring. And I barely took notice of like what was going on with him. Just drop her off, pick him up, pick her up. Thanks. And so when he died, I was like, how did I not see those? How did I not see it? Why didn't I see it? Why was I so self-absorbed in just me, my world, what was happening in my world? I understand now that that doesn't mean anything would have changed, but that guilt ate away at me for years,
Hence
which
the
is part of
drinking.
why I was overeating and over drinking. Wanted that to stop, shut that off. I don't want to feel that because that feels bad. That guilt is bad, right? That's how I took it, and that's how I internalized it. I understand everyone takes, death very, very differently, and I respect that. That's what happened with me with that. And so I shut off to my fiance, like, how could I have this like great life and be doing, I completely shut it down. Like I had to somehow now try to fix this, even though there's no fixing, but like, how can I help my parents and how can I, whatever it was, but stop making it about me because I was living with so much of that pain and that guilt. That's how that unfolded, really.
And unless you've been affected by suicide, like people can empathize, but unless you're living in this hell, I understand the guilt. I should have done more. I should have said something. I should have seen it. There's a
Yep.
lot of times you're going to go mad. Like you wouldn't. That's the one horrible thing. You'll never get an answer. And if you got the answer, you're not going to like the answer because you're still going to think that you can do something about it.
Yeah.
And I empathize so much with you for that one, right? And you've talked about as well, like the drinking, the overeating, the coping mechanisms. And we
Mm-hmm.
feel that we can control so much, but then just, hello, hurricane, right? You're just going further and further down the drain.
Yeah.
And you say there was no like aha moment, but there had to be like one day I always say like the switch just went off. Done. Can't do this no more. What was your I can't do this no more?
This is going to be tough for me to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. But there definitely was a moment. I never thought about doing what David did. So let me be clear about that. But I understood how he felt. I understood how he got to where he got to in my lowest moments. And it scared the fucking shit out of me. It scared me. Where I knew it was like something has to be done. And then I had a lot more empathy for him too, because I'm like, oh my God, if this is even a fraction of what he was feeling in the moments leading up to it, I can't imagine the pain that he was in. So yeah, that's definitely, it was enough to scare me. It was enough to scare me. Let's say that. And it was enough to make it glaringly obvious to me, if it wasn't obvious before, that I could not fix it by myself. I could fix the physical part. The gym is a natural place for me. That is a home place for me. I know what to do to physically get in shape, but I had zero resources on anything else. And just as you mentioned, the coping mechanisms, I had none that were healthy.
Yeah.
Didn't even know where to start. And I know this is going to sound ridiculous. But I even tell this to clients, like something as small as I got up every day to a blaring alarm because I'd wait till the last minute until I had to get up. First thing I do as I'm turning on the coffee is turn on the news. So I'm taking in all this negative energy, right? And having no idea that I'm literally starting my day. I'm fueling my day after a night of negative, negative, negative all night, right? And then starting my day with negative. I was having no idea how all those external factors were affecting me. I don't even have cable anymore. When I learned healthier coping mechanisms and became aware of what I was taking into my body, not just on food and drink, but what I was taking in through my ears and my eyes and what I was allowing to be around me was just magnifying any of those feelings, magnifying them. If you think about it this way, when you're in a good mood, sometimes you don't even know why you're in a good mood, and you run in to somebody who is just always positive, a positive friend, and they're smiling and their energy is bouncing right off of yours. You're now even in a better mood.
Yeah.
They've just excelled your mood, right? And the opposite is true. And I was just taking in negative all day because I was in that space up here without even realizing it.
I understand that because I don't have cable anymore. And
And
it came down to me getting in my workplace accident. Now
mhm.
that I have PTSD, I couldn't, like, there's certain TV shows I can't watch anymore. Like, I can't watch anything to do with anything criminal. I know those are the big shows, right? If there's an NCIS, NBC, whatever, SVU, no, Heather's out. Grey's Anatomy, I would wake up in the middle of the night in sweats, and it took me forever to figure it out. Taking out that negative when you are in a place of fight or flight, because that's where you were
Mhm.
living. And I just learned last year that's not normal. Well, I'm 45. That could have been helpful a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
And not be on this high alert all the time. After you did all that and took all that out, it sounds like an elephant came off your chest. How did you feel about all that? And did you go through some weirdo withdrawal from that?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. I love that question. Yeah, I did go through a little withdrawal. And so withdrawal, I love that. Habits die really hard. And I was in a position where I liked the negativity, dare I say.
Mhm.
The, I mean, I was looking back, by the way, like looking back and having to talk this out and everything, looking back, it's like, yeah, I kept perpetuating it, almost like you deserve to suffer. I deserve to suffer because my brother suffered and I didn't know, yada, yada, what, all the
Guilt,
guilty stuff,
shame, all the
right?
horsemen. Come on down.
Exactly. All the horsemen, right? So, yeah, there was a withdrawal. Now, to be very clear and for your audience, like this, it took, I'd say, a good 2 years to really fully make all of those changes. I didn't do all the things that I do now in a weekend, like just change everything. No.
Mhm.
There was a withdrawal from the morning routine that I was doing every day. Because even though it wasn't healthy, it was easy. I was so used to it. It was already a habit. It was a habit to just hit that coffee button, turn on the remote's right there. Like I had a routine down and those things, they stick. You just have to, I say one thing at a time, change one thing at a time, one click, 1%, one little habit, one thing at a time, and stick with that. 2, 3 months, change another habit. whatever that is. Everybody's going to have something different. My list looks different than somebody else's list. So it does take time. It takes a little work. And I hate to say that, but it does take work. It took work for me to get into the bad habits I got into. That didn't happen the day after David passed.
Yeah.
It happened 4 to 6 years after he passed, all those bad things. I didn't gain all that weight overnight. I didn't start, drinking a bottle of wine a night overnight. That it didn't happen overnight. So that the same goes for the positive things that you put back in your life. It takes time. It takes time. And I would get up, just the example of cable, just to give an example. When I turned all that off, I still turned the TV on every day when I made the coffee initially. There's YouTube, and I put a motivational thing on and have that playing in the background as I'm having my coffee instead. Now I don't even turn on the TV, but I still was able to hey, let me turn this on. But now I'm putting something positive into me. So it's just an example of how you can start incorporating healthier habits.
And for the younger generation who probably doesn't want to watch, I haven't watched the news. My mom always says, don't you watch the news? No. And you get and when I talk about the withdrawal, it's because you feel like you're supposed to be, our parents read the paper every morning, right? Sure. Now it's few and far between anyone gets paper. I don't even know if there's paper companies around anymore. And everything's online. So now the next generation is phone. What's going on TikTok? What's going on Instagram? What's going on Facebook? And I don't know about you, but I can't even go on my Facebook anymore because people treat it like their diary. And I'm I don't want to hear all this shit, right? I want to go back to 1982. Can I see clips from Facts of Life or something?
Oh, right? I love that show.
Can I watch Gem? That sounds amazing.
Exactly.
But, everyone just needs to be, it's almost it's always been a rat race, but it feels like it's just more and more and more with social media. I got to be the first one to know this. I got to be the first one to do this because there's so much reward in it. And as a Canadian, TikTokers here, and I'll just pick on them for a sec. They hate me anyway. I don't get a creator fund, right? There's no making money in Canada. That's not going to happen. Not just me, everyone who lives in Canada. And now you see this 18-year-old, 14-year-old making a video about makeup, and they're worth $7 gazillion. Well, I can see how other people are well, I got to be first. I got to be faster. I got to be better. I got to be more shock therapy. What do you think about all that? Sorry, that's a lot.
I'm glad that I'm in the generation that I'm in.
Well, I'm right there with you.
It would have made, oh my gosh, my teenage years a million times worse. So I do have some empathy for the younger generation now. They don't know any different. And that's tough. That's really, really, really tough. But today, I'm 47. Everything I know is social media, but I have limited myself twice a day. I'm on it because of my business, but I don't need to be on all the time. And the other thing is, and my marketing team, they taught me this and I was forever grateful. You can train, the algorithm. Just what I like is what I want to see, the positive stuff and everything like that. I've tried to tell some young people to limit their time on that. They're not going to do it. I mean, they're going to do it when they want to do it. To each their own. I think it has a lot of positive effects, social media, a lot. But to your point, a lot of negative. And like I said, I'm just glad that I didn't have that when I was younger.
Right. I think about that. And I'm we did a lot of stupid shit. No evidence about it. Thank God.
No iPhone, no nothing. So it's oh, thank God there was nothing because I can't even imagine what would have come out of it.
I'd still be in the clink.
Exactly. And there is that pressure. You see these people, even myself, I go on, I look at accounts where it's women doing exactly what I'm doing. I'm like, and they're way ahead of me. And then it's that, oh, I'm not doing enough. I'm not good enough. And then you have to constantly remind yourself. Again, without me going through everything that I had gone through and all the therapy that I've gone through and talking those things out, now I can recognize when I get those thoughts. It doesn't mean it doesn't like briefly affect you. Of course it does, you know? Um, but again, just limiting myself from it is the key for me, for me.
Well, let's touch on that
Yeah.
comparison, because as
Yes.
someone with an eating disorder, right, and just
Yeah.
grew up the way I grew up,
Yeah.
constantly being compared.
Yeah.
Now, I know you have 3 siblings, right? Yep.
There was four of us total.
Yep.
Myself, my brother who passed, and I have twin sisters. Yes.
So that and are you the oldest?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got that. So, but were you ever compared? Like maybe you didn't get compared because you had a brother, but I had a younger sister and I say it we're Irish twins, right?
Yep.
So like under a year, man. It was a good year though while I was a single only child. Wish I took more advantage of that. But like, did you feel that wrath or did you have cousins that you were compared to a lot?
Yeah, I would say definitely, certainly. I felt like I was compared to my sisters a lot of times, um, because I more look like my dad's side, and they look like my mom's side, like look totally different, right? Um, but just time and maturity. I love the way, I don't mean to sound this conceited. I love the way I look today. I love my body. I love my athletic body. You know, back then I wanted to be, oh God, who's the model that I totally looked up? The Kate Mosses were, you were rail freaking thin, you
Carolyn
know,
Chic?
no boobs, no ass,
Yeah.
no nothing. I was like, why can't I have that? And now I'm like, thank gosh, I don't look like that, because it wouldn't look right on me. I love that for certain people. It just doesn't look right on me. Once I fell in love with me, there was like no stopping anything. Um, but again, I really, really think that comes with time and maturity. I never would have thought like that as a teenager. It just, you
But
kind of come in
I
your own.
that's not conceit, my friend. That's what we all strive for. To look in the mirror and be like, "Damn it, good job, my friend." Right? I look good. I
Looking good.
and to have the clarity that you have, because not all of us have it,
Mhm,
uh, to know and to be comfortable in your skin.
mhm.
That that is the goal. How the hell did you get there? Because I need to know that part.
Oh, this is, look, if anybody wants to do this, I will tell you it'll change your world. Give it 30 days. This is the best thing you can do. I'm a big fan of sticky notes. My God, they're all over my freaking house. Okay. So like the sticky pads, go get yourself one. This one's orange. I love the colors. Okay. And for 30 days, and keep it in your bathroom if you want to, if you get ready in the bathroom. I think that's how I started out. Yeah. I think that was the very first. I mean, I've been doing this for years now, but if you're just starting out, I want you to get a sticky pad and a pen. And every morning when you go into that bathroom, you're going to write down 3 things that you are grateful for yourself, about you. I don't care if it's, I like my left eyebrow. It's really perfect. Like I am grateful for my left eyebrow. No one's seeing this. This is for you. And you're going to stick it on your bathroom mirror, or you're going to put it in your pocket and you're going to carry it with you all day and you're going to look at it. 3 things that you're grateful for. It can have to do with your personality, something that you've done in your life, any accomplishment, your clothes. I'm rocking this outfit today. My boobs, my ass, I don't care what it is. 30 days in a row, what you are grateful for you. You can't imagine the difference on how you'll see yourself at the end. At the end, I was seeing myself completely different, and I kept it up. You know, then 3 things, I would write down 3 things that I'm grateful for in my partner. It works for your partner. Start with you though, because if you want to be as comfortable as possible, I'm not saying that you're going to think you're perfect at the end. That's not even the goal of the exercise, but it's to start recognizing things that you forget that you love about yourself. What have you forgotten that you love about yourself? You love your teeth or your big toe. It doesn't matter. I have I have great toenails. I don't know. Okay, that's a little weird. That was not on my list, but I mean,
Okay.
it could be for somebody if they have great toenails, whatever that is. Um, if you don't start thinking about yourself in a different light, then no one else will see you that way either.
I'm always talking about team for one. And does it suck for the team for one? Yeah, but you have to be your own cheerleader.
Yeah.
So you better get loving yourself because it's going to be a really, crappy life, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it was my uncle's funeral, actually, and listening to my mom and my aunts compare themselves, and they're in their 70s, right?
Mm. Yeah.
And I'm like, is this how long this is going to go on for? Like, you're going to compare what you're eating and talk about your bodies. I'm like, this is exhausting. And I just started recovery then. And I was sitting like this, like Rain Man at the table. All food's good food. All food's good food. All food's good food. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, do you know what's happening right now? And they're like, why is Heather freaking out? Gee, I don't know.
Yeah. No,
And
and it doesn't need to be like that. Some comparison is good. Like I'll compare some things with my sisters when we get together. Like, hey, have you started hot flashes yet? Or like, if you notice like any, like those things,
Sagan and Dragon.
or if we notice some extra like bra fat, what the hell is going on? Like things like that, that's okay. Like that's something positive where we can talk as women or to like close friends, and we can say, hey, are you experiencing something like this too? It's when it turns into a negative where you're going, you're thinking this in your head, why does my waist not look like that? Why is my ass not that high? That's when it starts to get, not very positive in our own mind. And that's where the 30 days, writing down 3 things you're grateful for yourself, or things that you're accomplishing, it puts the forefront in your mind. You'll start rewiring your brain instead
And
of
it's possible. You can do that.
absolutely brain plasticity. I mean, it's a big thing. So why not give it a try? Why not give it
Right.
a try?
And I always say it's like chasing the rainbow, right? And we have similar lives. If I move across the country, my life's going to be better. If I lose 5 pounds, my life's going to be better. If I
Yep.
marry someone else, my life's going to be better. I've done that 3 freaking times. And like, if I just do this, my life's going to be better. The rainbow always moves. You
Yep.
will never touch the rainbow. Ever. It's just not going to happen.
I'd love that. It's 100% true. I'd really love that. And you have to ask yourself, do you want to be 70 and comparing yourself and still saying you're not enough? I don't know. Maybe you do. I don't.
No, not me.
I
No,
don't.
I'm good.
Yeah, I don't. So it started with me having to work on me is the bottom line. So that you're not chasing those unrealistic goals your whole life.
And as I was researching you, you
Yeah.
talked about something and I just loved it. You talked about excuse-itis, and
Excuse-itis.
right? And I'm like, "Oh, well, that should have been called Heatheritis." Right? And, and everyone always has an excuse for something. I can't do that.
Yep.
There's no way I can do that. I can't get better. I can't kick my addiction. Like whatever your deal is, right?
Yep.
You, me, we are still human. We're not I don't think you have a superpower, and if you do, share with me, please.
Yeah.
But it is that repetition of retraining your brain.
Mhm.
How do you get out of and we all know those people, the Eeyore people, the
Mhm.
excuse-itis people. How do you move forward in
Mhm.
that?
I call it arguing for your limitations. When people argue for their limitations, it's all you're doing. And first and foremost is recognizing that you're doing it. Every little excuse, well, I can't do that. I'm in perimenopause or I'm over 45. I can't do that. Every time you say I can't, sit back and think about it for a second. Why did I say that? Why did I say I can't? I can't. I literally despise the words I can't. And I said them all the time. All the time. I can't do that because I have kids. I can't do that because of this. I can't do that. That was like my whole vocabulary, I swear. And when you just start to recognize it and change that language that's going on inside your brain. Look, I'm a big fan of writing things down. I like to write. I'm a writer, like an actual pen to paper. So I'm not all digital yet. That will probably never leave me. There's also been many, many studies that you put that pen to paper, it sears into your brain, much more than just saying something. So every time you say, I can't to something, write down 3 reasons you can, or recognize that you said it. Uh, It got to a point, when I was like really into this, healing myself, that I was like analyzing almost everything I was thinking. I wouldn't say go that crazy, but certainly initially, what is my brain pattern? Like, what am I doing? What am I
Yeah.
saying to myself all the time? Because whatever we're saying to ourselves, it's coming out in reality. That's what we're projecting to the world. Um, so I would say again, first is recognition, and stop arguing for your limitations and start doing. I can't do 30 push-ups. Okay, great. You don't have to say that. I can do 10. Let me try 10. Let me work on 10.
Yeah.
Just start small. Start small, nothing huge. One thing at a time.
And I love that, like, I love your story so much.
No.
And I love that you are very open and honest. You're my kind of person. And talk about, and I always say a front burner person as
Mhm.
opposed to being a back burner person. And you're very, very, you own your front burner very, very much. And that's okay. And now you've talked about being a back burner person, about
Mhm.
helping and being a guide, which is what life's all about, and gratitude and giving back. Damn it. When you've been through some stuff, you learn giving back is it, right? And how did you come to that conclusion of getting into the giving back to your community and what affects you?
Great question. I just want to say before I answer that is like, those who have been through it are the ones that you need to listen to. You are the ones that have that superpower to help other people.
Follow the guides.
Follow the guides. That's the biggest thing. That gym that I stumbled into, hung over, and took a cycling class. Within months, I was teaching there. I was the cycling instructor. I was up on the stage and I was helping that audience. I went from there to another big gym and opened up one of their locations. And from there, I went to Equinox. And it was in Equinox, the person that hired me really is my friend and my mentor. I love her so, so much, Patricia. And again, I was being guided where I was supposed to go. And I was teaching there and having a great time. And people would come up to me before and after classes. What do you do to like stay in stay in shape, or what do you drink, or what do you eat? And, those kind of things, right? And then the pandemic happened and everything shut down. And I called Patricia and I said, I want to help more people than just the people in my classes. Bigger. So we did a social distancing walk around a lake in this beautiful, beautiful place that I live. And she told me about a program that she had gone through, that she had gone back to school and became certified health and wellness based in positive psychology. And I said, that's for me. And so I went back to school and did that, and then opened up my own business so that I can help people wherever. They could be in Canada. They
With
could
no
be
power.
around the world. And really there is something to be said for positivity and gratitude. So those are the two things that I base everything in, is positivity and gratitude. Again, if you can do a half a push-up, I'm freaking happy. I'm here to make it simple for beginners and to help you, whatever you're navigating. There's one last thing. I do want to point this out. Even if you don't play in the stock market, we've all seen like how the stock market up and down, but it goes up over time, right? So if you could draw a straight line through it, it goes up over time. But there are dips, there are ups, and those are downs. That is what your health and happiness life looks like. It's not always up. It goes down. Things happen. It's how long we stay down. It's having the right tools, the correct coping mechanisms, right? That we shorten the time, how long we're down, and we get that line back up. As long as it keeps heading in an upward direction, you're going to live a great life. You're going to live a really, really great life. And so again, all of those things happen. All those timelines happen that led me to where I am now for a reason. And I thank David, and I am grateful for David, because
Your angel.
I probably would have never ended up in Los Angeles. My oldest daughter went to a top school here, where on day one, she met her future husband. None of those things would have happened. She would have gone to college in the Northeast, where we're from, right? So it's taking a step out.
There is no coincidence, my friend.
Yeah.
The universe is a weird thing.
Oh, it's great. If you can just zoom out and kind of see yourself, see it from back here, as opposed to in the everyday little things, there's a lot of positivity.
And I always talk about, because I'm a cynical kind of person. But I try very hard to find. I always say, find the funny in the fucked up. Because even though your life is fucked right up, yes, there's something funny about it. And that's how I cope. Because if I didn't, I'd cry. And I'm done crying.
Yeah.
But once you get through that one positive door, another door will open.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find the people on the positive hallway, right? If I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't have met you, right?
Yep.
And learn from my guides, the people who I want to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
People who are successful in this business. I want to help, right? Because my story is no different. I just talk about it. Right? That's the only difference.
Yep. Front burner. Heather, you will get what you're looking for in life. Everybody will get what you're looking for. If you're looking for positive people to surround yourself with, if you're looking to live a happy life, you will find it, and you will find those people. If you're looking for the opposite, you're going to find that too. There's plenty of it. As a matter of fact, there's probably more negative than positive sometimes, right? Especially on like the news end and all the things, right? You'll find it. So decide what you're looking for.
And just jump.
Yeah.
It's not the fall. It's hitting the ground. That sucks. No, just
No, it's how long you stay on the ground.
right. Right.
Won't to shorten that time. Get up.
Get up. But it does, like, and everyone's going to fall. And I'm glad that you're talking about that, because everyone's going to fall and it's going to suck the first time.
Yeah.
But you get back up.
Yeah.
And the more you get back up, it's not really, well, falling's just part of life.
Yeah. You and I were talking about our dogs before we jumped on. Oh my gosh, I love my dogs like more than I'm a huge animal lover. Again, growing up on the farm, I have a very big soft spot for dogs. I want all the dogs in the world. They're not going to live forever. Things are going to happen. I may lose, more friends or family members. Now I have different mechanisms to help me through those things, but I had to go through that for me first. And I had to take care of me first to even get to that, right? So for anyone listening, if you're in any tough spot, I promise there's a light at the end of the tunnel for sure.
I had someone say, quit future fucking, because there's nothing you can do about it. And why worry about something twice?
Oh, that's a good one. That's
right?
A good one.
I'm like, oh man, I'm learning all this stuff in my 40s. I'm telling you, being in your 40s and having like a near-death experience really kind of shines a light. So
it really does. I mean, I don't recommend it, but like, yes, no, it really does, and it gives us better tools. Yeah, I love that. That's very true. Future fucking. I always say future tripping. That's a good one. I'm going to keep that one too.
Hey, you can take whatever you like, my friend. So I want you to come back. I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know you're a very busy lady living out there the life in California with all the sunshine. Well, I'm here in Vancouver and rain, but I'm going to come visit. The Canadian is coming. Where can we find you, my friend?
Okay. Well, you can find me on my website, www.ginaperrin.com. It's just my name. It's super simple. I'm on all the social media platforms, Gina Perrin. It's nothing hidden. I do have a new sugar-free toolkit that is out. So I do live a sugar-free diet, no to low sugar. So if you're looking to get a little bit healthier, that's completely free, just head to my website. You can sign up there. And I do send out a weekly health newsletter, totally free. So you're welcome to sign up for that as well.
Well, and that's a great spot to start, because if you find your village, find your people, find your guides, and get an email from you, it sounds great to me. I want an email.
Every week, yeah.
That's so awesome. I hope you come back. I just adore you.
I will. Thank you, Heather, so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And all I can think about is going into that spin class hungover. Man, oh man, that's got to suck.
Do not recommend. Do not recommend. I do not recommend. Don't do it.
Have a great day, my friend.
Thank you. Bye, Heather.
That's all for this episode of 1% Better. To continue the conversation, head over to our website at www.1percentbetter.ca, where you can access more stories and resources. We'd also love it if you subscribed and left us a review on your favorite podcast platform. And remember, friends, progress takes patience, perspective, and sometimes a little help from people who get it. So be kind to yourself and others as we work to get 1% better every day. We'll see you back here next week.